virtual meeting. Know that we had some technical difficulties last time with our audio, but we believe that we've got it all straightened out by now. We've had a couple of committee meetings and planning sessions that have been online and everything's worked out. So hopefully you can all hear us. Would everybody please rise and join us for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Please let the record reflect that all board members are present. Mr. Burns will probably cover this later, but I'll mention it now. In conjunction with Governor Cuomo's executive order, the budget vote and trustee election will be held on Tuesday, June 9th, 2020. The executive order directs that all voting will be by absentee ballot, no in-person voting. The order requires that every eligible voter in the district be sent an absentee ballot with a postage paid return envelope. The ballots must be received back at district. The ballots must be received back at district office by 5 p.m. on June 9th, 2020 to be counted.
What are you doing?
Okay, moving right along. We will also, based on the dates that are required by law, we'll be holding the budget adoption on May 19th at 7:30. This will be as part of our regular planning session and it will be held virtually. And we'll be doing our public budget hearing on May 26th at 7:30, and that will also be done virtually. Okay, of course, due to the nature of this meeting being virtual, all questions from the public, whether they be issues related to an agenda item or otherwise, can only be addressed via email. So you can either send them to the superintendent at wi.officeofsuperintendent@wi.k12.ny.us or to the Board of Ed at BoE@wi.k12.ny.us, and we will get back to you. Okay, can I have a motion for the approval of minutes from April 21st, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me.
Okay, personnel, Mr. Taylor.
May I have a motion to approve the director and secretary for the adult education, driver education, and enrichment programs as listed on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Get the living fucker.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Okay, curriculum update. Mrs. Morrison.
Good evening, everyone. It's really nice to see everyone's faces this evening. Just a little update on our continuity of instruction plan. Phase 3 will be starting on Monday, May 14th. It was shared with the teachers last Friday. So this has been a week of transition, teachers, getting together, collaborating with building and district administrators in regard to the changes in the plan, and we are going to be rolling it out to our students as of Monday. The parent-student guidance document was posted on the district website on the left side under announcements. It says phase 3, so all parents and students do have access to that document. The Board of Education did receive the documents for phase 3 in the backup today provided by Mrs. Burns this morning in her email. Phase 3 includes a few small adjustments, and these adjustments were made based on the feedback that we received from the parent and guardian survey. We got a lot of great information. So many things are wonderful things are happening throughout the district, and we just had a few minor adjustments that needed to be made. So our Phase 3 is going to include increased student-teacher interaction. It's going to include an increased focus on the social and emotional well-being of our students. There is clarity provided at the elementary level for our third trimester assessment practices, and at the secondary level for our fourth quarter and final grading practices. The district remains extremely committed to working within our capabilities to ensure the academic success of all of our students. But it is important to note that student engagement in this learning process is an expectation in order for them to receive credit. So we are making sure that our teachers and our administrators are reaching out to those students that may not be as responsive as we would be hoping they would be, so that we can get them engaged in the process. The Phase 3 also includes a tiered systemic plan to support the mental health of our students and families as they deal with this crisis. I certainly encourage all parents to reach out to their respective teachers and building administrators with any questions or ongoing concerns. I'm very proud that our pre-K through 12 teachers and students continue to collaborate and work together to put out some really great learning experiences. I've had the opportunity of seeing great videos from every building in the district where students are sharing their work, where they're reaching out to one another. So I want to give a shout out to everyone because there's great stuff going on in there. We continue to highlight the accomplishments of our students, and we're celebrating our graduating seniors in some special ways that will continue to occur throughout the remainder of the school year. I would like to acknowledge our students. This is a very difficult experience for them, and overall they are doing a fantastic job. So a big shout out to our students, boys and girls, keep up the great work. You're doing really well. To our teachers and our administrators, again, these are unprecedented times. Everyone has really come together to ensure that we're meeting the instructional and academic needs of the students. And of course, to our parents who are really there on the front lines in the houses, trying to, execute everything that we are putting out there. I would like to extend my appreciation to parents as well. The participation rate improvement plan in regard to the student participation on the state tests that were needed for Oquanock and Manitowoc and Beach Street have been complete. They will be shared with the Board of Education for your approval before we send them to the State Education Department. Thank you.
Dawn, if I could just, comment on it. First of all, great job by you mentioned the students, the teachers. I mean, as you know, I live it with the 3 kids and a teacher in the house. Amazing how we've transferred from 60 days ago to in-person to the distance learning. I know there's tweaks to be made for it, but just a great job by staff, administration, the teachers. It's really amazing to watch. To mobilize that. One suggestion I would have is maybe send a message out. I know it went out an email and is on the district web, but maybe a robocall call to the parents, just saying, encouraging to get to the website and read that, because I think that's maybe a missing piece, but just one suggestion.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Morrison. Okay, Mr. Mahalik will discuss the meeting of the Finance Committee.
Good evening. The Finance Committee met on May 5th, 2020 in a virtual meeting. The committee members present were myself. Board members in attendance were Mr. Gello, Mr. Antonello, Mr. Compatello, Mr. McCann. Administrators present was Mrs. Burns, Superintendent, Lisa Pilati, Assistant Superintendent for Business. Others present were Brian Taylor, Executive Director of Human Resources, and James Bossi, Director of Facilities. Purpose of the meeting: to review the warrants for the month and discussion of pertinent fiscal matters. Meeting came to order at 7:21 p.m. We went over the Treasurer's Report of the school district funds for March 2020, the extracurricular funds for February and March, and they were presented and accepted by the committee. Payroll summary report for April 2020 was presented and accepted by the committee. Financial statements for March 2020 was presented and accepted by the committee. The internal claims audit report for March and April 2020 was presented and accepted by the committee. The system manager audit trail for March 26, 2020 and 4/30/2020 were presented and accepted by the committee. Payroll certification for April 3rd, April 17th, and May 1st, all of 2020, were presented and accepted by the committee. The Finance Committee reviewed the warrants. On the review board, agenda finance items. We had approval of budget transfers that were presented and accepted by the committee for submission to the board. We had the approval of bond bids with the district-wide bond phase 4 mechanical rebid. That was the base bid with DNS Mechanical Services for the value of $994,322. With bond phase 5 building and site improvements, we had base bid number GC1, which was with Horning Construction, $430,000. Base bid number GC2 with Gorilla Waste and Contracting LLC for $220,000. Base bid number GC3 with Land Tech Group for $582,000. Base bid number MC1 with Aventura Construction Corp for $66,900. Base bid number PC1 with Hartcorn Plumbing and Heating for $234,000. Discussion items. Draft 3 of the expenditure budget will be shared with the Board of Education. And the Board of Education inquired as to the status of the district state aid. More information should be forthcoming from the governor by May 15, 2020. Meeting was adjourned at 7:20.
Okay, I'll try saying that all again now that I've taken myself off mute. Mr. Mahalik will continue by discussing the meeting of the Buildings and Grounds Committee.
Building and Grounds, we met on May 5th, 2020 in a virtual meeting. Our members in attendance were myself, Bernadette Burns, Alyssa Pilati, James Bossi. Others in attendance were Mr. Antonello, Mr. Compatello, Mr. Geller, and Mr. McCann. On the shutdown due to the COVID-19, Mr. Bossi updated committees as to the status of the buildings and ground operations since the state mandated closure of all school buildings. A custodian performs a building check daily to ensure that all mechanical systems are performing correctly. Due to the increased use by the public during the day, litter has become a problem that is addressed daily on the outside grounds. Office staff rotates to maintain appropriate distancing by performing essential functions. Principals are in the process of arranging for students to obtain personal belongings that were left behind in their lockers and classrooms. The bond update. In light of the current reliance on distance learning technology, the need to accelerate the installation of the backup generators at Manatuck and Beach Street were discussed. Mr. Bossi was discussed with BBS. Projects that impact safety and security have proceeded as long as distancing protocols can be observed. The PV solar project. Since there is no obligation on behalf of the district to assume any debt at this time, the district will award the bid to Noresco, which will commence the design of the project. The summer building permits. Various community groups have inquired as to whether the facilities will be available for summer camps and activities, including the pool. This will be discussed in the future, pending direction from the state. Tenants. South Shore Children's Center tentatively plans to open tentatively on May 18th. Willets Creek project. Residents along the creek have expressed dismay about the number of plantings on the district side of the creek. The DEC considers the project complete, but Mr. Bossi will contact DEC for further information. The meeting adjourned at 7:45.
Okay, I almost forgot to unmute, but then I remembered. All right, thank you, Mr. Mahalik. Mr. Compatello will discuss the meeting of the Special Ed Committee.
Yeah, good evening. Special Ed Committee met at 0800 on the 6th of May, and we did it by a telephone conference call. Members present were Ms. Dowling, Ms. Morrison, Mr. McGinnis, and myself. We discussed how this distance learning was affecting the special education students. It seems to be going okay. They have some problems on occasion, minor glitches, nothing that can't be overcome. It's going. It's a new experience for everybody. But you know what? Overall, it's going pretty good. And that was pretty much it. All seems to be going pretty well, but we need some more attention. I'm sure they miss a teacher being in front of the classroom. But we talked for a little bit and we ended at 08:25. It was a brief meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Compitello. And Mrs. Pilati will discuss financial matters and business items.
Thank you. Good evening. The treasurer's report for the month of March had a beginning balance of $54,509,277.12 and an ending balance of $62,417,090.95. May I have a motion for the approval of budget transfers 3843 through 3850 for the general fund and 3834 through 3849 for the capital fund?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You know what? Let's do show of hands since half of you are muted and half are not. So all in favor, show of hands, please. Opposed, show of hands. Paul, you voted both. Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of district-wide bond phase 4 mechanical rebid as listed on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of bond phase 5 building and site improvement bids as listed on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Pilati. Okay, can I have a motion for the approval to hold the reorganizational meeting on July 7th, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. at West Islip High School?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next item is a discussion of the 2020-2021 regular meeting and planning session dates that were in your backup. Does anybody have any issues with any of the dates that were on there?
No.
Okay, very good. Okay, can I have a motion? There's 3 of them. I'll read them all. Motion for the approval of, you know what, I'll do it one at a time. Approval of resolution regarding Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association. The first one is for the authorization for the district clerk to record the outcome of votes and results notification.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for the approval of resolution regarding the 2020-2021 Nassau Suffolk School Board Association budget?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for the 2020-2021 Nassau Suffolk School Board Association slate of officers and executive committee members?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Not yet, Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I have, okay, nope, that's it. All right, Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Geller. So as Mr. Geller pointed out at the beginning of the meeting, we're doing things a little bit differently this year as far as the trustee election and the budget vote goes. The vote has been determined to be held on June 9th by absentee ballot only. Those ballots must be received by 5 p.m. on that day. We are adding information to the district website as it becomes available. So I would encourage people to check back often and early and often. And we will also be sending our notifications early next week. You should be getting them at home. Our first required legal notice alerting to our residents and our households to the fact that the budget vote will be held on June 9th.
Bernadette, what's the total number of registered voters? Just curiosity.
I believe it's approximately 20,000,
20,000. Thanks. Thank you.
give or take. Typically, this is a very busy time of year filled with assessments, culminating activities, and celebrations. Right now, we are on pause. In the coming weeks, we anticipate further guidance from the governor about the duration of the restrictions put in place throughout New York State, and sooner the better as far as we are all concerned. Once we have more information, we will communicate with parents about claiming any personal belongings that students may have left in classrooms and lockers, as well as items that students need to return to the district. As far as the end of the year events go, some will be canceled by necessity, such as our field days, but alternate plans are being made for many of the others, especially those that relate to our seniors. Despite the fact that we cannot celebrate in a traditional manner, we certainly do want to continue to celebrate their accomplishments. As soon as these plans have been finalized, we will be communicating that to the parents as well. On another note, each year in May, and typically at this meeting, we observe National Teacher Appreciation Week and National School Nurses Day, a time in which we have the opportunity to show our teachers and nurses the gratitude they deserve for the devotion and the dedication they have to our children. And they truly do, and no time is more apparent. They work millions of small miracles every day. Those small miracles really have hit home, I think, for all of us recently when we see what has been accomplished on a daily basis with our students. This year, we are not able to recognize our teachers and nurses in the typical fashion. However, they deserve to be celebrated. Despite the challenges that have presented themselves, the nurses and teachers have managed to quickly adapt to the new routines and expectations in an effort to support our students. So I would like to say, on behalf of the Board of Education and the West Islip School District, I would like to recognize our teachers and nurses for their tireless efforts and dedication to help build the educational foundation for all of our West Islip students. So I hope they're all listening, all 406 of them.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Burns. And certainly you touched on it, but I just want to reiterate that, of course, our graduating seniors are more than deserving of our praise and congratulations and special treatment. And despite the difficult circumstances, we are certainly going to work really hard to make sure that we celebrate their accomplishments in an appropriate manner. That, as you say, still needs to be worked out in regards to safety and the law. We are going to do everything that we can to make something special. So, okay, anybody have anything else? Okay, again, I gave the addresses, the email addresses earlier. So if anybody in the public has a question or a comment, please email it to the superintendent's office or to the board. Again, those addresses can be found on the website as well, and we will be sure to get back to you. Can I have a motion to adjourn to executive session where the board will discuss personnel, negotiations, and litigation?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for joining us. Be safe, be well.